So before we even start today's episode, I've got to jump on here and tell you that I'm super duper pumped because I get to collaborate with the awesome Stephen Scott. We're doing HOP and Operational Learning in Las Vegas on October 8th and 9th. If it sounds like something that you'd be interested in, head over to thehopnerd.com/event and check it out. There are limited seats. And if you want to just go ahead and register, send an email to steve@hopimprovement.com. 2 days, workshop Las Vegas. It's going to be awesome. Don't miss out. I'll see you there. Hello and welcome to the HOP Nerd Sideshow, your behind-the-scenes guide to everything happening with the HOP Nerd Podcast, the HOP Nerd LLC, everything happening in my world and all of this HOP Nerd stuff. If you're looking for that, you are in the right place. Do me a favor, head over to the website www.thehopnerd.com to learn more. Make sure that you follow along on all things social media. You know those things. The platform formerly known as Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. I think I've got one of those. Definitely YouTube. Anywhere that you can follow people, make sure that you're following along. Welcome to today's episode. Hello. If you're looking for the HOP Nerd Sideshow, y'all are in the right place. My name is Sam Goodman, the host of the HOP Nerd Podcast and winner chicken dinner. Ding, 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 ding. You guessed it, the HOP Nerd Sideshow. That is where you are at right now, along with being the owner and consultant of the HOP Nerd LLC and all that stuff, man. Happy you have probably stumbled across this little show that we have in addition to the main pod. As you know, if you do follow along, I don't do a very good job of promoting this show as much as I should, but it is the place for everything else. Everything else that we got going on, even for our guests. As you know, we just had Clive Lloyd on not that long ago. I've got some other folks that we're getting geared up to get over here on the side show so you can get to know them a wee bit better. I hope things are going well for you wherever you find yourself in this big, wild, wonky, crazy world. Things have been great for me. I've got some time home. I can't say that I've recovered. I can't say that I've rested. When I come home, I've got so much crap to do. I'm sure you can relate to that, where you're busy, work, business, right? Business, and then you come home and you go, crap, I gotta work, life, work. Well, how did that hole get in the wall? I guess I got to fix that. Oh, you mean the car doesn't work anymore? Oh, wow. The crap in the yard grows when I'm not here. Now I have to do I got to trim all that. Oh, the sprinkler's broke. I need to do that too. Oh, gee whiz. Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When I get home, I'm lock myself here in the little office, my little office here at the house, and I do all the work stuff that I need to do. And on a good day at home, when it just kind of compresses, because I travel a bunch, I'm working from hotels, motels, no-tails, planes, trains, automobiles, covered wagons, tuk-tuks, right? That transit life that we spend so much time talking about. I live a lot of my life traveling and working there. And there's only so much you can do, though, when you're on the road, because you're exhausted. You're freaking worn out with travel. You're doing like the work of what I do for a living, which is, the travel is the work, but then you're doing the hangouts and the keynotes and the workshops, and you're on your feet for 10, 12 hours a day minimum, talking for 8 to 10 to 12 hours a day minimum. And then, you're doing all the other stuff, and then you're getting to the hotel room. You're trying to at least get like some walking in, some type of exercising in, because I'm trying to lose weight like so many people out there. I'm still carrying around pandemic weight. Lord God, help me. So when I get to the hotel room, I'm trying to do that. And so there's only so much you can get caught up in the hotel. I'm doing like the stuff I got to do, and I'm saving the rest for when I get home. So then when I get home, I kind of keep normal office hours. Some of that's just for my sanity. Some of that's because you got to be where you do the work. All right. There's, what's that old book called? The War of Art. The War of Art. Read that. Stephen Pressfield, I think. It's a really interesting thing, for writers and creative people and just work, right? If there's something that you're working on, he talks about it through the sense of like the muse, right? Which is a pretty interesting concept. But he talks about it in the sense of like the muse is real. I don't know how real that is, but I like it. I'm here for it. I get the idea. I dig it. I definitely dig it. But I do completely agree. Like, if you're going to write something, you got to be in the place where you write things. Like, you can't sit on your couch and be like, I'm going to write something today. You need to be in your office, like behind the desk. Like, even if you're just staring at the freaking screen, you need to be there with that blank Word doc open, staring at it, and something's probably going to happen. Right? Something's probably going to happen. You're improving your odds far better, right, than just sitting on the couch watching Netflix. That's for sure. So I have to physically put myself in there, because I know if I get into the Netflix slump when I'm home for a couple of days, I stay in the Netflix slump. Yeah, and we all do. Yeah, of course we do. Same thing with the podcast. I come in, I get in the office, I've got my hours. If I've got a podcast first thing on my agenda, like, I'm pulling the mic over in front of my face, so it's blocking my view from cruising LinkedIn, from working on other crap. I'm going to record that podcast. I like that. There's something about having some set hours when I am home that keeps me sane and on mission, right? Like on mission. And that's super important to me. So when I do come home, though, I do have a lot of that stuff that's piled up, like the normal life stuff. But then I've also got the normal office stuff, the things I can put off until I get home that I need to work on, and all the ideas that are scribbled in the book for pods, or for this or for that or for the other. And this is where I have to get the time to do them. But it's a balancing act, y'all. I know I'm preaching to the choir. We live similar lives. I know, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When it comes down here, I'll share with you a very personal story. I've got a bunch of dogs, as you know. Cold brew. I know you're here for it. We'll get to that here in just a minute with the review. But when I am home, it gets wild. And here's the little story. And my cold brew distracted me, so I'm sorry. I kind of went, brain drifted there for a minute. But we've got a bunch of dogs because Avery's a bit of a dog collector, and I have a couple dogs. I started off with a couple, and then we got another one, and then we got another one. Now Avery has a cat. So currently, in our little menagerie here, we have 4 dogs and a cat. People stop dropping off freaking dogs on my doorstep. You know I can't say no. Like, I can't, like, just have to. Like, I'm not, like, I can't just boot it out, right? That's how we end up with the fourth dog. Yeah. But so not that long ago, when I was home for a few days earlier on in the spring. I'm like, I know what I'm going to do. I'd already ordered it. I had a doggy door sitting out there, sitting in the garage, had the tools laid out, ready to go. I was like, when I get home, I'm getting this done. I got out there, got the doggy door in, easy peasy, like light work, right? Like putting in a doggy door. I'd already knew, like I'd already mapped everything out. I knew where the doggy door was going. I knew that there was nothing in there. I knew it was just clean, easy cuts, like perfect, right? Get it in there, go out for a couple weeks, come back, my dogs destroyed it. Yeah, like they ripped the flaps off of it. They ripped the little, the little block thing you put in to keep them out. They decided they didn't want to stay out. So they chewed the flaps off of it, broke that down, and then chewed a hole in half the wall. So then you come home and you're like, man, I really need to record that podcast. But the first thing I have to do, because I live in the desert, I don't like snakes and scorpions and nests. I got to fix a freaking hole in the wall. You know what we face in this crazy thing called LIFE. Yeah. But it has been nice and fun and wild and crazy. But I have got a few weeks home, and that's a really long way of telling you, but I have got a few weeks home coming off vacation to just get caught up. And it's been nice to take a little bit of planning time to get this fall planned out. This fall is stacking up to be a rip-roaring adventure of a good time, just as last fall was, and the summer was, and the spring was, and yeah. So if you do need a hand, send me an email, thehopnerd@gmail.com. That schedule, I've got dates out there, but it's getting wild. It is getting wild, and we have that fun time with Steve Scott coming up on the 8th and 9th in Las Vegas, a public workshop. You can go learn more at thehopnerd.com/event, or send Steve an email. That's shorthand for send Steve an email at steve@hopimprovement.com. With that being said, let's just jump right into a cold brew review. Oh, my lovely cold brew. I'm sitting here with a wonderful La Grande Orange grocery store cup. La Grande Orange. If you want to be fancy, you can call it La Grande Orange. It's beautiful. I picked this up. We did a little bit of a staycation as part of these few weeks off. We went on a vacation, then we had to take a staycation to recover. A pro tip for you, if you're coming to Arizona, I tell people not to come in the summer ever because it's brutal if you're not used to the heat. We love it. I know that sounds bad. I mean, we're getting to the point of the year where we're not loving it so much. We're ready for the fall, right? We're ready for things to chill, and it's cooling down. We've gone from like pushing, upper 110, so like 115, 16, 17, this week and the next couple of weeks, it's supposed to be in like the lower 110s of like, well, I guess not even 110s. It's going to be in the 100s. It's going to be in like the 104s, 105s, 103s. Some of those are even like 100-degree high temps for the day. So we're pumped. But pro tip, if you're coming here and you like the heat, you don't mind it, summer is the time to come. I mean, we did a cool staycation in one of my most favorite places in the state. And I try my best to rep the state of Arizona here on this podcast as much as I can. I freaking love it here, y'all. I've got to tell you, I'm a hillbilly. I miss my mountains. I do. I miss my streams, my lakes, my creeks. I know we never called them creeks. We just called them creeks. I know creek is a common phrase, turn of phrase in a lot of the mountains. We never had that when it was just the creek. We're going down the creek. I do miss that. I miss mountain life a bit, but I've been here for a minute now. I've been here for almost 14 years, roughly 14 years. And I've turned to a desert person, and I fell in love with the city of Phoenix from the first time that I came here. It was just something else. It was just something else. So I try my best to rep the state as much as I can. And I encourage you to come visit. But if the temp's not quite your thing, if you can't handle that heat, don't come in the summertime. But if you can get some smoking deals. I'm just going to tell you, because we went to one of my most favorite places, back to me repping the state, Arizona Biltmore. It is gorgeous, and it is old, and it is historic. And I was browsing around on the internet. Hold on, more cold brew since we are in a cold brew review here. And I'm going, holy crap. It's like $100 a night. And you should know by the name, Arizona Biltmore. It's usually not $100 a night. Like, we got a poolside room for like $100 a night because nobody comes here in the summertime. So if you are looking for some pool days, my friends that live here, y'all know this. And if you don't, holy crap, you should know this. But if you're looking for a nice like resort vacation, someplace like the Biltmore, you can get a good cheap room. I mean, an eighth of what it normally costs. I mean, you look peak season, those rooms are like $700, $800, $900. Some of the suites are like $1,000 a night. It's not Arizona Biltmore. It's fancy pants. Yeah. $150 a night. Heck yeah, sign me up. So I was just browsing the internet one day, kind of wrapping up for the day here in the office board, going, I wonder what their restaurants are like over there. Because I know they had a great restaurant. They closed it. They opened up another one. So I was kind of looking at that, and then I saw summertime deals, and I had not even thought about a staycation. So a couple weeks after we got back from Tennessee, we took a quick staycation, a one-night staycation to recover. We don't have a pool or anything here at the house. The plan is to build one of those one of these days. Holy crap, those are expensive. And so we wanted to get away. Our community doesn't have a pool, nothing like that. So it's like, I want to go swimming. Let's do some swimming. It's hot outside. Let's get away. It's $100. Let's go. And we knew they had a pool. I didn't really look too much at the pools before we went. But once we got there, I discovered that they have 7 pools. Yeah. And like gigantic water park water slides and all that stuff. So we had a blast, and it's in my old neighborhood. So we used to live down that way. If you're familiar with the Phoenix area, it's more towards the downtown area of Phoenix. We live farther way back on the west side, out in the valley, out in the county, actually in Maricopa County now. But we used to live near there. And one of our favorite places was La Grande Orange, LGO Pizza, LGO Grocery. It's an awesome little spot. They have some of the best pizza. And I'm going to call it right now. I'm going to call this isn't a Barstool Sports pizza rating or anything like that. It's not that serious. But in my highly unprofessional opinion, as it relates to pizza, I think LGO, La Grande Orange Pizza, is the best you will find in Phoenix. All like handmade, all locally, organically, all that kind of fancy pants words you put on artisanal things, all that stuff. And a sourdough crust, thin, like, it's one of those ones where there's no sizes. It's just a pizza, and it's a single serve. It's for you, and it is freaking delicious. And when I was down there, I actually got this fancy pants little coffee cup. I love it. It's wonderful. It's not really as much of a coffee cup as it is like, I think they call it a party cup. It's kind of like a reusable aluminum like solo cup, and big enough, perfect for cold brew. Love it. Absolutely love it. And they have great cold brew, but we are not reviewing their cold brew today. I'm doing another Wandering Bear product because I finally got my order in. If you listen, hold on, let me get a sip. That I've been waiting, and it took them a minute. So come on, Wandering Bear. You did pretty good, but it's still like a week and a half or so. I was hoping for sooner. It seems like a long time for some big old jugs of cold brew to be in the mail. They come in these big, like, wine boxes. You know, those big cardboard boxes with the bladder inside of them. At least that's what I'm used to being in those kind of boxes, is alcohol. So they come in those, and they fit nice in your fridge. But I ordered a few different varieties. One that I have chatted about on here before, which is coconut cold brew. Highly recommend, high rating on that one. The one that we're sampling today is a raspberry mocha. It is black. It is just flavored raspberry mocha. So it's like 5 calories, something super low like that, which is always what I'm shooting for. I don't like the cream or the almond milk or the sugars and all. I just don't like it in there. I just don't like the flavor of it. Not my jam. Don't like sweet stuff all that much. I did not get fat through cake. I got fat through La Grande orange pizza. Yeah. that's more of my guilty, sinful pleasure there. But I got that one. So what did I say? Coconut, raspberry mocha. I got a peppermint mocha for Jarrell, which I haven't tried yet. We're going to save that one for review. And then we've got the OG straight up black cold brew, which I have not tried yet. So I've got several boxes. I've got about at least a solid 2 months worth of coffee in there, and they keep well. You keep them in the pantry, you open them up, put them in the fridge. They're good for a couple weeks in the fridge, that kind of thing. So they're super duper handy, and they are delicious. Because I've shared over on the main show, I'm pretty sure I shared over on the main show. If I'm not, I'm hallucinating. Someone can help me. But that I'm not good at making it. I've tried to make cold brew at home, and it just ends up not good. And so if you haven't listened to the main show and you're hearing this here for the first time, if you've got a great way to make it, or a great recipe, or the coffee that you're using, you're making it at home, you're doing that with some success, let me know, thehopnerd@gmail.com. I'd be really interested in what you're doing and whatever kind of sorcery you have going on that you're making great cold brew at home. But today we'll get to reviewing those other ones at some point. Today, since we've already done the coconut, today I actually have the raspberry mocha in my cup. I poured that drink up in my cup. And let's talk about it. I've been sipping on it, but I'm still going to give you the rating chug here. Let's get it good. You can hear it. Got a little bit of ice in there. I will tell you, it's about half full. It's got a little melt to it, which I'm a fan of. I like when the ice starts to melt a little bit. So this is a nice kind of soft ice, those little bullet ice. I've got one of those little bullet ice machines because I somehow managed to break the refrigerator back to everything going wrong at home when I'm gone. And I haven't fixed it yet. So I just bought one of these Amazon $29.99 specials. It's been working just fine. So here we go. You hear it. Let's get a nice little, let's do another one. Good. I like it. So I'm going to tell you, because I've already been sipping on it. I like it. I do like it. I absolutely like it. I don't like it as much as the coconut cold brew. There's just something. I'm a coconut person. If you're not a coconut person, you might not like the coconut cold brew, but this is not about the coconut cold brew. This is about the raspberry mocha. The raspberry comes through pretty good. Like it's out there. Some of this stuff I try, it's either far too much, like that fake fruity flavor, and you're like, whoa, or it's just not enough at all. This seems to be in a pretty good sweet spot. You get the raspberry, and then quickly behind the raspberry, you get a nice hit of that chocolatey mocha, smoky kind of bitter. You know what I mean? Yeah, you get that with it, but they go really nice together. As we know, raspberry, that's just a combo made in heaven. Of course it is. Yeah, absolutely. Of course it is. So I've got to tell you, it's delicious. I don't remember what I rated the coconut. So if I get this higher than the coconut, that's not my intent, I guess is what I'm saying. But I would give this one like a solid 7. A 7's good, right? Yeah. So, kind of my North Star in this whole endeavor of rating coffee is that for whatever reason, Starbucks cold brew, the OG cold brew, is kind of my go-to. Either that's just through habit, what I've always been used to. I don't know. I just like it. I can never seem to find one that checks enough boxes. And so I'm calling it the 10 in the rating scale. Okay. And I know it's probably not the 10 in life, but it's what we're going with as kind of the main comparison point. It is the 10. And if we really wanted to rate it, it's probably like a 9.5, right? 9.2, something like that. Perfection doesn't exist. So let's just keep it at a 10 though, for the sake of making this easy for all of us. Anything above a 5.5, 6 is pretty stinking good. Yeah. Because as we know, you get below that 5 and the difference between a 5 and a 1 is insane, right? Like bad. But the difference between like a 7.5 and a 10 isn't all that big of a difference. So anything to me, about a 5.5 or a 6 is I'm drinking it. I have no problem spending money on it. I'm happy to pay for it. It's great stuff. Anything below about a 5.5, definitely anything below a 5, I'm going to go carrying out on somebody. I'm like, give me back my money. Like, this is basically tastes like melted human hair. Like, it's horrible. Like, there's a huge difference between that line, right, in this scale of rating, which I feel is good to note. But absolutely excellent. If you're into raspberry stuff, if you're into that raspberry mocha combination, a little tartness to it, that little bit of fruity flavor. I'm a raspberry fan anyways, y'all. I like raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, any of that stuff. I'm here for it. And the flavor doesn't have too much of a fake flavor to it, like a lot of this stuff does. Not at all. Absolutely wonderful. I've got to tell you, I always feel the need to say, I guess, that, these coffee companies do not sponsor anything that we have going on around here, nor do I ever, sorry, I dropped half of my ink pens here on the floor as I'm trying to do this podcast. I get excited and start throwing stuff across the room. And not that they ever would sponsor anything, but if you wanted to, Wandering Bear, you know how to get a hold of me, thehopnerd@gmail.com. If you wanted to, Starbucks, Dutch Bros. If you guys wanted to, yeah, I'm here for the free coffee. Just start dropping some cases off at the door. It's not going to change my honesty level on these things at all, ever, period. But more than happy to continue to talk about, as we all would be. Yeah. So great coffee. Again, I buy this stuff, I guess is what I'm really saying. I buy this stuff with my own money, no sponsors, nothing like that. At least not as of yet. And if I'm telling you it's good, it's because I actually think it is. I've had great success with Wandering Bear Cold Brew, and most of the cold brews that I've bought that are kind of that boxed, canned, pre-made kind of stuff, not going to a coffee shop and getting it, most of it has sucked. It has been garbage, most of it. And this has not been that at all. It's actually feels and tastes like something you went and got out of a coffee shop. If I refill my Dutch Bros cup with some ice, throw this one in there, handed it to you, you would not know that it didn't come from a coffee shop. You would not know that it come from a box. Absolutely wonderful, and keeps well in the fridge. And there you go. That has been, hold on, one last drink, and I'll probably drink about 17 more of these as we get through the show, but that has been our cold brew review. Yeah, man, I got to tell you, the Wandering Bear stuff is just good. I told you I couldn't stop. I'm continuing on here. I've just been having a blast getting to spend a little bit of time at home. I hope that it really comes through in what I do, not only when I'm in person with y'all out there and getting to have these impromptu meetups and the public workshops, and obviously in the work, getting to come spend time. I get to spend time with so many of you all in your organizations. I hope that the love for what I do really comes through. It's passion, man. I mean, that's it. I just can't do stuff that I'm not passionate about. I just can't. I don't have it in me. I tried for a long time, and as many of us do, but I don't have that. I've got a lot of tough in me, but I don't have that kind of tough. Life's too short, man. Life's too short to do stuff that you're not absolutely passionate about. And I am absolutely passionate about the work that we do as a community within my little solopreneur company of the HOP Nerd LLC and the people that we partner with. I'm just passionate about the work that we do because I think we're really putting a freaking dent in things. We are leaving the world better than how we found it. The work world that we stepped into when we first stepped into at least the worlds of higher risk and the wild and crazy stuff that we deal with, and even beyond. I mean, I spend time in companies that aren't maybe so traditionally safety focused or HOP focused, that are leveraging human and organizational performance to just make things better. Holy crap. Like, it's cool. God, I'm so sorry. I'm overwhelmed with how cool. I freaking love it. I freaking love it. And I love it because we're doing good work. We're doing it for the right reasons. We're putting a dent in the world. We're leaving things better. That work world that I was just alluding to, that we stepped into, when we step out of it, the people that are taking our place, they're going to find something better than how we found it. More humane, more humanized, adult relationships, at least the best that we can leave it. And I'm passionate about that. And I know that you are too. I say that to say that it's still nice to be home for a little bit. It's still nice to get off the road, because Sometimes, if I'm feeling like a cowboy here in Arizona, I call it the traveling rodeo. But a lot of times it's a bit of the traveling circus. Yeah, you know how this goes. Place to place to place, stage to stage to stage, keynote to keynote to keynote, company to company to company. And it's wonderful. It's absolutely great. This is not a complaint at all. I think that's why I feel the need to tell you and ask, let me know. I mean, if it doesn't come across the passion that I'm really pouring into this, I hope that it does. I think that it does. But it's still nice to get to be home. And a good example of that was, as I said, we did the staycation, but I've got to be home. I've got to work from home here in the office, you know, and the cool thing about that is you're kind of working. Yeah, I get my full, like, if I say I work 8 hours, it means I work 12 that day. Yeah, we know. Like, I am a workaholic and I know that. I love it. I love it. But you get to do the stay-at-home dad stuff too, kind of hybrid stuff. So, you know, I tell you, Avery's off on Fridays. She doesn't go to school on Friday. She goes Monday through Thursday. She likes it that way. She got these big, long honking days of going to school. But that means she's off on Friday. So we get to do our little Friday rituals and little stuff like that we do. Usually at this time of year, that means going and walking around the mall or finding a pool to sneak into, you know, doing stuff like that. But something that we got to do over this weekend that was super nice is I bought this cookbook, and I've been reading a bunch because I've got some time to read a little bit. I've been reading some hop books. I read that more recent Martha Acosta book, which was great, you know, but I've not been reading too much hop and safety stuff. I picked up a cookbook the other day because we're into like the funky, paranormal, funny kind of stuff. I don't know that I believe in all of that crap. I don't know. Do you? Who knows? I don't rule it out. I think it's kind of like aliens, I guess. I don't completely rule it out, but probably not, right? Aliens far more likely, I think, than the paranormal, but I enjoy watching those shows. So me and Avery really get into those shows. They're quirky, they're weird, they're kind of funny, they're just interesting. I like them because, and I promise this is coming back to the cookbook, I really like them because I like to see the old places that they go. I'm a nerd for old buildings and just history and stuff. And a lot of these paranormal shows go to some really cool old, like, places. This kind of industrial decay a lot of times, right? Old sanitariums, old prisons, old hospitals, old hotels, all this old. I'm just into old, which if we have time, I might even, somebody asked me to share a little bit about what I keep on the shelf behind me here. As many of you know, I guess it's iconic. I've had several people share with me your iconic HOP Nerd background, which is my shelf full of crap that I'm not allowed to put anywhere else in the house. If I get a chance to talk about some of that stuff today, I will. If not, it'll be the next episode because someone specifically asked for that. But we watch all that stuff. So a lot of the little paranormal stuff, I like picking up these cool little books, and not like Here or Why Ghosts Are Real, like nothing like that. But like I've got one here from one of my favorite podcasts. There's, sorry, I'm turning around back to the shelf. I guess I am talking about the shelf a little bit. There's one called A Haunted Road Atlas, and it's from this podcast called And That's Why We Drink. It's a really cool podcast if you're looking for something to listen to while you travel. It's a team of two folks. And one of them does a paranormal story. One of them does a true crime story. So you don't even have to be like a paranormal nut to be like, oh, it's got to be all paranormal. Bigfoot's totally real. Cryptids. And no, it's not really our thing either. But so you kind of get both. And when we end up on long drives, even that's like mine and Jarrell's go to. When I'm on planes, I end up going to that one a bunch too. So I've got that book. But then more recently, Instagram got me again. Instagram always freaking gets me. Those are nice sunglasses. I should buy those. Oh, I just press one button and it's mine. You already have my address. Cool. Take all of my money. Now, this one, I'm more pleased with this purchase because a lot of the crap I end up buying on Instagram is exactly that. It's just crap. I'm like, these are not as described. Now, I know I'm a little all over the map. I will say that I did get a nice pair. I think these are called Kiaura. You tell me how to pronounce it. I don't know. But I did pick these up, and I got the Lautner XL whiskeys because I got a fat head. So I did manage to find one pair of sunglasses. I picked them up here off the desk. They're nice, actually. I mean, they're just as stout and robust and nice as any of the other ones I have. I was going to say fancy ones. And I guess Ray-Bans are fancy. That's usually what I wear, Wayfarer or something like that. Back to the fat head. I got to get the extra large, kind of bigger sunglasses. And these are great, and they're cheaper than Wayfarer. But every now and then I get lucky. But this cookbook in particular, I got super lucky with. And I saw it. I'm like, well, that's cool. And then I went and looked at it on Amazon. I kind of browsed it. I'm like, oh, that's neat. So it's basically recipes from your most favorite iconic haunted places. So like hotels and even houses. I don't want to give too much of a spoiler, but there is Lizzie Borden's meatloaf recipe. Yeah, like actually Lizzie Borden's meatloaf recipe in there if you're looking for something cool to make for Halloween. It's just around the corner. Come on, I'm going to make Lizzie Borden's meatloaf recipe. But we took the cookbook and we actually took it around the corner to Fry's to the grocery store here. And we got some ingredients, and I don't have the cookbook in front of me, or I would tell you the exact places that these are from. I should have better prepared. Shame on me. But we made a homemade tomato soup from scratch. It's actually from, I know where this one's from. It's from Big Nose Kate's in Tombstone, Arizona. And what was interesting about this is this recipe, it was actually published in like 1886 or something like that here in the Arizona Star or whatever the newspaper was called. I believe it was called the Arizona Star. And we made that from scratch. And then we also made these pecan balls that Avery had found. I let her pick. I was like, here, take the cookbook. She was all into it. Like, mark the pages of the stuff you want to cook. You know, we'll cook it over the next few weeks. Maybe we'll make some videos of me and Avery cooking. That'd be kind of cool. And we'll talk about hop while we're cooking. I don't know. I'm just spitballing ideas here. But these are the two she landed on for this weekend. So we made a homemade fudge sauce, again, out of the cookbook. That was part of these pecan balls, which, again, out of the cookbook, which is pecan balls are basically you roll up balls of ice cream. You put them in the freezer. You let them get nice and like deep freeze balls of ice cream. Yeah. So they're hard. And you've toasted some pecans. Yeah. You've toasted them in some butter and you roll the balls of hardened ice cream in there and all the pecans stick to them and it's nice. And you take this homemade fudge sauce, which was absolutely freaking delicious, like kill you delicious if you eat too much of it. Maybe that being part of the haunted cookbook, you could end up in there. And then you basically pour that in the bottom of a bowl and you plop that thing right on top of it, that pecan encrusted ball of ice cream, and holy crap, delicious. I loved the tomato soup. We made a grilled cheese and we didn't need a recipe for that. I don't think we just winged that one. And I really liked it. Avery wasn't so sold on it, but just dad stuff, right? And she wasn't so sold on it because it had like a full turnip in it too. And I liked it because of that. It gave it a bit more earthy, like it was old school tomato soup. It wasn't the crap you get out of can that's like, you know, tomato colored food paste and sugar. Like I thought it was awesome. It was a great meal. But we've been getting to do a bunch of stuff like that over the past few weeks. So as passionate as I am about the work that I get to do, it's been nice to get to do some over from home and get to do some cool things like that. I highly recommend that cookbook. It's beautiful. Like it's just a beautiful book too. And you know what I mean? Like it's a nice coffee table book too. Like it's a great one. I just picked up an Iggy Pop book that was a really nice, like a beautiful, rich colors, a bunch of great pictures and stories, great big print coffee table book. I've got more than a handful of those. I like buying wacky coffee table books too. So I've got like, you know, the Guide to Exorcisms, something that I keep on the coffee table that throws people for a bit of a loop, but I like to throw it out there. It's fun. So if you ever come visit, we have you over for dinner, just be prepared. I like to just throw random books out on the coffee table and let people go, what in the heck? They're usually cookbooks. Death and Company is one of my favorite cocktail books. That is like a phenomenal cocktail book. That's usually what's hanging out there. But it has been nice. Now the other couple things I've been reading, because I promised you, hold on, I've got to move a little bit. If you'll hear all my mountain of junk fall on my desk. Sorry, I've got like laptops and I've got starting points, operationally curious questions piled up on top of my laptop from a recent gig that we did. And then my cigar lighter, which I haven't used in months, but it is sitting here because now I use it to light candles more than I used to smoke cigars. My humidor's stocked full and I just don't smoke them. But I've been reading these. I've been reading Tripped and Blitzed by Norman Ohler. And Blitzed, it's Blitzed, Drugs in the Third Reich. The other one is Tripped, Nazi Germany, the CIA, and the Dawn of the Psychedelic Age. And they have been insane so far. These have been excellent books. I'm kind of reading them at the same time. When I go pick up Avery, it's a kind of a blessing and a curse. Where she's at in school, I don't get cell phone service. I just don't. Like it's like a dead spot, like no cell phone service. I can't get texts out. I can get calls out. I can't get texts out. And I can't really listen to stuff unless I download it like I'm going on a plane. So I usually carry a book or both of these books with me and sit there and read for the hour or so, because she gets out of school, she plays in the park, I watch her play in the park, I read a book. It's kind of good. I would encourage you to pick those up too if that sounds like something you're into. I'm always into anything old school, World War II, anything historical, and especially in this is just wildly interesting reads. So check those bad boys out. Now, I'm going to turn around here a little bit. I'm going to try my best. And I'm going to pick a couple items off the shelf, and maybe I'll make this a reoccurring segment on this show until we run out of stuff. But I did mention the background here. It's all kinds of stuff that I really can't put anywhere else in my house. A lot of it comes from travels. A lot of it's family heirlooms. A lot of it's gifts that people send me. There's a ton of books in here that I've purchased and people have given me, and signed stuff, and just stuff that I don't know. I just like. So I think the first thing that I'm looking at is I've got a Philippines peso, a victory peso, back to maybe some of the stuff that I collect from World War II that I'm staring at right across from me. So if you see some of the money sitting up there, some of those are just different currencies from World War II. So that is a victory peso. It is cool. I don't know the year on it. Hold on. Let me see. If you don't mind a little bit of dead air space, it's a 1944. Yeah, there you go. It is a 1944 World War II silver victory peso. So that's kind of cool. I've got a bunch of stuff up here, obviously the books and different things like that. I've got different things from clients that I hang out with. So I've got different products, some of those different products that they make, or products that I've got to be on their line and like pick some of those products off. They're like, take one. And like, it's just cool, right? How cool is that? That's pretty stinking neat. Some of the other stuff that I have up here that I'm pointing at, a couple family heirlooms. I've got an original family Bible that's sitting down here. It's under, if you're looking at the background as we're talking, or you see it on the videos, the podcast, it's right under the little white Buddha guy, little Buddha plant that I've got there. It's missing it's basically missing its cover. It's barely holding together. And I keep that sitting on top of it because the pages are very frail, and a little bit of wind and like pages are ripping off and stuff like that. So I keep it kind of squished, which I don't know. I'm not a book preservation expert, but I'm looking for somebody to rebind that at some point. So if anybody has like book rebinding expertise or knows of people that do a great job of that, let me know. But it's cool because it's actually got a lot of marriage history and death history from my family in that particular Bible. And it is old and frail. I'm trying to preserve it as best as I can. The other thing that I'll share with you, a couple things, and I'll wrap up the segment for the day. But up top, we actually have, and I'll even go to the wall. I'll give you a couple bonus ones here. But up top, I have my dad's mining helmet, his hard hat from when he was in the mines. He retired from coal mining, and he was a mechanic and a welder towards the end of his career. And that's actually his helmet, his hard hat from when he was a mechanic and a welder. Dad passed away back in 2008, worked all of his life, moved over into working in the nuclear generation space, in the contract space there for a while for the last little bit of his life. But yeah, I've got it there. It means a lot because, coal mining, that industry where I'm from in the hills of Virginia, in the mountains of Virginia, Appalachia, that's what put food on our table. That's what took me through high school. That's what helped pay for some of my college. Like, that's what kept us alive. And just that hard work and just him wearing that and the work that he did while wearing that, I just love it. I just love it. So I'll keep that forever and then pass that on down through my family. Now, the other two things, I got a couple of things I'll share with you here. If you look up here next to my little Phoenix Suns basketball, which I'll talk about that one later, and some of the other stuff over there later, next to my Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas glasses that you've probably seen from the promo videos for HOP and Operational Learning in Las Vegas happening on October 8th and 9th, I got two hats. One of those is from Flavortown. One of those I got signed by Guy Fieri. How cool is that? That's pretty stinking neat. Yeah. I love Guy Fieri. Like, I was watching that. There's a viral comedy routine that went around not that long ago, and it went around a minute ago, and I just saw it again the other day. And what's so wrong with loving Guy Fieri? Like, the guy really walks through, this guy doing stand up. He walks through like all the amazing stuff. like Guy Fieri does, from like helping children in schools and helping small business owners, and like on and on, and like amazing. And then he's like, he has bleached hair and wears flame shirt, so everybody hates him. Like, what's the hate? Like, who can hate Guy Fieri? He's amazing. Yeah. And so then the one next to that, which is just a random hat that I had available to me. I was wearing this hat at the time, but it's Shooter Jennings. Yeah. So I got that signed by Shooter Jennings at a festival that I was at, I think around 2006, 2005, 6, 7, somewhere right around there. I saw Shooter Jennings, and I've seen him about 3 times, I think, altogether. Shooter Jennings, if you're unaware, son of Waylon Jennings. And if you're unaware of Waylon Jennings, please just go away and don't. No, I'm joking. Jackie, but I love Waylon. I fell in love with Shooter's music. And had the honor to meet him a couple times, and one of those times get a hat signed. So that's up there. It means quite a bit to me. Then I told you I'd go to the wall, at least a wall that you can kind of see, and maybe we'll expand this segment into a full-on office tour at some point. But over here, you see, like, I've got like some Hawaiian art and some tiki art and a lei and some different other things hanging on the wall. All of that came from this little wall. All comes from mine and Drell's engagement and marriage. So those leis are actually the leis that we were wearing when we got married. The same thing with shells and all that stuff. That's all from there, right? So that's all from there. So that's a mixture of stuff from Maui and also from Kauai. Those. That's there. So that's kind of my little like engagement marriage corner. Yeah. So I've covered what? Let's see. I talked about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 5 or 6 things so far out of about 1,000 of my thrift shop back here, my little kind of thrift shop back here on the shelf. But more to come. I think that was a kind of neat request was, hey, why don't you tell people more about the stuff that's on your shelf? Like, we see it all the time. And you just kind of ignore it back there. Like, it's got to have some significance to you if it's back there. And a lot of it does. Some of it is just like, oh, that's neat. Oh, that's funny. I'm sticking that out there. I'm just throwing that out there. Of course, yeah. But most of it, just about all of it, has some pretty big significance either to me, my life, the business, my family, all the above. Yeah. So we'll continue that on. But with that being said, we've been going for over 40 minutes now at this point, and I feel the need to not drag it on much more, because we've talked about everything that's going on. I've given you a cookbook recommendation, some non-safety related reading recommendations. I've let you know about HOP and Operational Learning in Las Vegas on October 8th and 9th. We've did a little bit. We've started a new segment of the show, the shelf tour. Yeah, I've given you a sunglass recommendation. We did did I say coffee review? We did the coffee review. I've let you know about all the stuff that we've had kind of going on over the past few weeks. So until next time, I guess. Yeah. Until next time. I don't know. Let me know what you want me to talk about on here. Again, this is pretty much everything else. Every now and again, hop stuff, work stuff, the actual work of the work stuff seeps in here. But the intent here is really just to talk about everything else, like around the actual stuff that we do. There's interest, and I enjoy talking about it. You seem to enjoy listening to it. So yeah, let me know, thehopnerd@gmail.com. Again, follow along anywhere that you can follow along. Make sure that you like, you share, you subscribe to this pod, and anywhere that you can like, share, and subscribe. That helps us an absolute ton. And check out the merch stop. There you go. It's a shop that's a stop. Check that out. We've got all kinds of new designs over there. I just added some just the other day that I think you'll really, 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 really enjoy. Again, working with local artists and making some of them ourselves. It's just fun. And it's a great way to show your love and support of what we've got going on here on the pod. As you know, these episodes come out about twice a month, just whenever I've got stuff I want to talk about. Really, whenever I get time to sit down and do them. So probably in about 2 weeks from now, you get another one of these. Make sure you're listening to the main show, which comes out every Tuesday at this point. Again, just about every Tuesday. Every now and again, I miss one or throw you a replay, but almost always new episode every Tuesday. Does Tuesday work for everybody? I don't know. I've never really asked. I was doing Monday, and then we always had the little quick Wednesday minute that I was throwing out there. I've not quite brought that back yet, so maybe I will at some point. I don't know. I've thought about it and kicked it around. Just kept it as a single episode, just move that to Tuesday and split the difference. But if you'd like to see those old hop minutes come back, let me know. And if Tuesday doesn't work, let me know a better day that does. thehopnerd@gmail.com. And anything you want to know about, learn more about, listen to this show, listen to the other show, get merch, sign up for the mailing list, inquire about services. If you don't want to just send me an email, go to the website, www.thehopnerd.com. That's all I've got. Thanks for joining me for the HOP Nerd Sideshow. Until next time, everybody, it is Sam Goodman, the HOP Nerd, signing off. Love you. I mean it. Bye. Thanks for listening in, everybody. Cruise over to the website, www.thehopnerd.com. Scroll to the bottom, click join the mailing list, and definitely do that. Follow along everywhere that you can follow along, like Instagram or the platform formerly known as Twitter. It's the Hop Nerd on Instagram, the Hop Nerd 1 on X. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel for brand new videos around hop and a bunch of other stuff. LinkedIn. Make sure that you're following me on LinkedIn, Sam Goodman, and the HOP Nerd LLC and the HOP Nerd podcast page. And if you need a hand with human and organizational performance, operational learning, and everything in between, the website, or just send me an email, thehopnerd@gmail.com.